All right, dope. Man, y'all know I'm Shamar Green here. I'm here with a really special guest, man. Tavon Patterson, aka Tavon Greatness. He has a special on Prime Video. He's a talented comedian, great guy.
Yeah.
Him and his wife puts on great events. They get real dressed up, man. You know, they like to dress to the nines, man. They good people, great people.
Yeah.
We just gonna talk mental health today with my guy, man. First, just checking in. You good? Everything good with you?
Everything is good, man. Blessed, highly favored. Things is moving in the right direction. Just trying to stay balanced and maintain the momentum of good stuff, man. So I'm all right.
Absolutely. Now I'm gonna come in hot. This is a two-parter. What's a struggle you have mentally, and was it something you noticed right away, or was there a turning point, a breaking point that made you go, "Okay, I should prioritize this"?
Um, I think grief for me is one of the hardest things to um I'm not gonna say deal with or because you just kind of like never get over it. Um, but for me it's always been a it's always been a thing that just lingers on when I have time to just think about those that I've lost in the past. I think for me, it's always been there, just because in a strange way, have seen a lot of death. Like I've been there when people are taking their last breaths. Um, I've seen people's lives get taken in an instant like that. So it's just the process of having that experience inside of me, man, is just it's something that I always knew was going to be a hindrance or of some sort. However, being able to recognize that and take action as far as talking to the right people, getting therapy, getting a better perspective on how to deal with it, man, has always been a catalyst in how I cope and deal with it.
What's a message you would send to somebody dealing with loss or grief who they don't know what to do?
My thing, man, is to always pray for self comfort and self and self strength, man, because everybody's going to deal with it differently, man. Some people want to jump immediately into staying busy, trying to keep their minds off of it, but we always have time throughout our day, man, where just something is always going to push a memory of somebody. So my whole thing with me is always, of course, if you know you can't handle it on your own, man, find good people that doesn't have an agenda except to help you develop methods on how to deal with the grief positively, right? Which is something I didn't always do. I would, I'm not ashamed to say that I would fall into some vices that I would try to help cope, but then understanding how that necessarily wasn't helping me in the physical aspect, I had to scale back and find different methods, man. So I would tell someone, man, just to pray to whoever you pray to. I'm not telling anybody to, develop a religion, but whoever you pray to, just pray for self comfort and self strength every day, man, and trying to deal with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are there any stigmas that you had going in or that you see other people have that you now look at and go, oh, that was kind of silly of me to think that, or that's silly for others to think that in terms of mental health?
No, not really. A strange thing, man, that I got throughout the nature of my adulthood life, man. A lot of people had this stigma of me that like I was an abuser. Like it was certain. Like I remember, I had a female companion of mine tell me, she was like, "You look like you beat bitches," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Why do you say that?" She was, I mean, I don't have a record of any of this. I've never, I don't think I've ever really displayed yelling or aggressive behavior towards females because that's just not what I do. I have too much wit built in me to like have that type of nature towards a woman. But I was just laughing at her like, why would you think that? She was like, I don't know, your look and just the way like you carry yourself, it looks like behind closed doors, like you abusive. And I was like, that's horrible to think
Yeah,
about with
I
somebody.
never got that
Yeah, like
vibe.
and so that was the thing, but that I heard it more on one occasion, so I was just like, wow, like okay, if y'all think that I'm that type of person, like I do have a mom and sister, like a grandmother that I used to have. Like I was raised to treat women respectfully. So the whole stigma about Tavon just walking around pin smacking hoes, that's just not me. That's just not me.
Bond is very respectful to women. We want to make that clear.
Thank you.
We want to clear that out. We killing narratives. That's what we doing.
Killing narratives on that.
Narratives and stigmas. We knocking them down. How do you? And we've had this conversation. I think when we were on set for that movie. I would love to hear you elaborate more on how you deal with comedy and separating that from your actual life and how you deal with the ins and outs and anything that may come with doing this.
You talking about as far as comedy is concerned?
Yeah, how you separate it and whenever things get too much or how do you
For me, man, it was just and kind of like what I was dealing with, man, with just the recent passing of my grandmother, man. I think for me, it was important for me to take the time to one, grieve properly and to understand that I'm still human. And sometimes like when I'm going through something, it might not be in my best interest to be in front of a crowd trying to perform the art that I respect so much, that I love so much, and that I dedicate my life and career to, because I might just not be in that mode to be vulnerable in that situation as much. Now, it's not like I'm highly regarded right now, and I just got bookings and bookings, and I got to show up for people. So taking the time to be able to monitor my bookings or monitor my time to display my talent on stage, I'm healing. I'm grieving. And so learning how to separate that and understanding that after the stage is over with, I still got to be Tavon Patterson. I still got to be a man, and I still got to deal with my personal issues because they're not going anywhere. I can mask them for the the opportunity to perform comedy and stuff like that. But I, if I'm not going to be my best when it's time to present myself in that fashion, I have the equity and the pushback to tell somebody, not right now. I can't do that right now. I got some things, I got some triggering issues that I got to handle. And luckily enough for me during that time, man, I've had some people that understood that and gave me words of encouragement and just told me, when I'm ready to get back on stage, the opportunity is there for me to take advantage of.
Absolutely. You mentioned, I'm gonna piggyback real quick. You mentioned like, that negative stigma about how you treat women or whatever. That's false. We cleared that up.
Mm-hmm.
Advice to anybody who deals with negative stigmas in their life that's not true. How did you develop that conviction, that security in yourself where you could laugh it off? Because some people can't always laugh it off. They get what? Well, they get real defensive. So how did you build?
Yeah. Just understanding, man, that people's perspective of you, we humans, man. And so everybody's not gonna have the best perspective of you. And you have to be comfortable within yourself and confident amongst yourself to understand who you are. Some people might be in a place where they don't quite know where they are or where they want to be, or and so when they're dealing with that and just hearing negative stuff penetrate their ears and their brains and their hearts and all that, it could become overwhelming and defensive to where you always in defense mode. But if you develop the confidence and I guess I want to say like the fortitude to say, nah, that's not me. This is how I present myself. This is how I go about things, and stand in that. It's all about standing in that and understanding like it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn. And so just go with that attitude, man, and then always understand that some people just gonna speak that negative because they're not comfortable with themselves.
Mm.
So it can come from a place of projecting. It can come from a place of just ignorance. It can come from all sorts of angles. But if you have the confidence in yourself to know who you are and who you want to become and who you want to be, you got to stand in that and understand how to deal with that. As far as just letting it be something that you can repel off.
Yes, sir. Last question. What's something you want to see done for the youth, for kids to improve their mental health and just make their childhood just a better overall experience?
Just being active. Be active. OGs, adults, understanding that you've already had the experience of what being a child is like. So if you take all those experiences that you had, good, positive, and indifference, you have that you have that equity, that education, and that experience to be able to tell, and not necessarily tell them in a demanding format, but level it out and balance it out enough for kids to understand it and be active and be diligent. Like we have a responsibility to be constant for the kids coming up because they need it. There's so much stuff in the world today that is developed on distractions. And as a kid, even when I was a kid, if you didn't give me the attention I was necessarily needing, I can go find it. And usually when kids go roaming to go find attention, what do they find? The negative stuff. And
Bro,
so I just think um as an adult, as a man, just being active and being a better listener to kids,
mm,
being a better listener to the youth because they do have opinions, they do have experiences, they do have questions because they want to be grown. Adults want to be kids again. You got to fight. So y'all got to meet. Y'all got to meet at that exit. You got to meet at that exit and and understand. Like as an adult, you can learn from children. You can learn from the youth. You can learn things that we didn't necessarily have to go through as kids that they have now a new issue that we can learn how to be better equipped to help them out when they come with the issue that they come with as a child. And I think that's our best effort. But we have to be active with it.
yes, sir. All great answers, man. Thank you. I got what I needed out of this. Anything you want to leave us with or pass on or promote before you go?
I'll just promote t-shirt line, chopsdynasty.com. Look me up on all social media platforms, Tavon Greatness, all one word, man. I'm so proud of you and the things that you're doing. Keep it up, of course. Like I always said, man, we're gonna find out who working and who ain't.
Mm,
Um, and so, yeah, for May, for Mental Health Month, man, I'm keep doing this. And everybody just in your life, be intentional. Be intentional about what you want out of life, and understand that all hardships ain't ain't to necessarily break you down. It's to help you learn because life ain't easy, life ain't long, but if you stay positive, you stay intentional about what you want, you can go get it.
yes, sir. Thank you, Tavon.
Hey man, appreciate you, Shamar.
Hell yeah.
All right, boy.
All right.
Holla.